Hello, hello. This feels so weird already. I'm not used to recording any kind of YouTube video. The first YouTube channel I had was years ago, and it was from this game called Hotel Hideaway. So I'd post clips of that and do like role play things on it. So that's kind of my experience in the field. I also have a microphone, which is gonna give me some sort of ego boost here. There's gonna be, I feel like I'm on a higher up level now. I'm not going to clip it to anything. I have just spilt my drink on my jumper, which is fine. Anyway, so I don't actually know how to explain why I've started this. I guess I kind of bought like a ring light setup and then a microphone, tiny microphone, and thought, well, what else is there to do with it? I just realized if I hold this away from my face, does it go weird? I'm guessing so. Oh well. Um, I guess the conclusion that I came to was that it would be kind of a fun way to create a platform where I can get the millions of daily thoughts out of my brain because it's all the time and I'm really into having like deep conversations, but there seems to be a lack of people who actually enjoy them. So here we are, I suppose. I have like a list of topics which I've been thinking about for the past kind of week while I was thinking, what am I going to do with this new setup I've got? And I guess I keep saying this, I don't want to jump into it too much. Um, I do have a lot though to talk about. Um, well, I'll talk about this more first. I have never used a microphone before, so this is I could clip it on, but I'm not going to because the power of just being able to hold it and having something to hold and like have is very refreshing. So I think I'm just gonna keep that. I really enjoy it. And also there's which I love. So it feels like I'm on a COD lobby. I've never played COD. I just assume that's what it's like. Um, do I introduce myself? I'm in college. I'm in not right now, obviously. I go to college. I do business. I did 2 years of media makeup and then decided this is not academic enough for me. Actually, I'm feeling like challenging myself a bit, which never happens. So jumped into doing business, doing fantastic, incredible. Um, I have a TikTok which I really enjoy. I recently hit 10K. Hey, so basically I'm famous. I'm on the red carpet next week. Vogue tried to get me, but I just wasn't available, unfortunately. I'm looking at my poster right now. I could talk about that for a minute, I guess. Moonrise Kingdom, incredible movie. My favorite director of all time, Wes Anderson. I just love the coloring of his movies. It's awesome. I really want to just jump into it, but it feels unnatural if I do that. Or is it more natural to waffle on about something when I just want to talk about, okay. No, this is my thing. This is literally mainly for me, and then if anyone else happens to enjoy it, then props to them. But okay. The topic that I've been really thinking about lately and trying so hard to get myself out of is being too much of an understanding person. And I don't ever like to say things like that are possible because I don't think you can be too much in any way. Because recently, I've been kind of second guessing myself a lot. I've been like, am I too much? And then you know, you have to take a step back and be like, no, you are never too much and you are always enough. There we go. So just to get that out there, first of all, I'm just going to leave that there for a second for dramatic effect, I think. But yeah, being too much of an understanding person is probably the bane of my existence, I'm realizing, because every single time somebody does something to me that I know I should be kicking off about and, standing up for myself, my mind just immediately goes to why they've done it. My mind it doesn't cross my mind of how that affected me. It just goes to why have they done that? What's their reasoning behind it? All my brain ever wants to know is the reasoning, like the full truth, not whatever reason they give you, the full truth reasoning behind it. That is what my brain goes to every single time. But the bad thing about that is that if I understand it, then I'm way more likely to forgive quicker and, you know, just eventually forgive, which sucks because then it's like two sides fighting of like, this person's done me wrong, you know? This was a bad thing that they really hurt me, but I get why they did it and I can understand where it came from. So, I find it hard to go to the first side and be like, they have done me wrong. They don't deserve anything else from me. They do not deserve me searching for any more understanding. That is it. They gone. Because as much as I can let go of a situation, it's like I cannot control that part of my brain that just searches for understanding, which, and this will be another topic, but it happens to be a thing with neurodivergent people, which I am. We constantly tend to search for understanding in things that we shouldn't, and we should just accept and maybe even be angry about, or but we shouldn't be sat here searching for understanding all the time. But yeah, it's kind of the bane of my existence, so I really am trying to get out of that pattern. um I haven't done too much research on that. I've just been kind of thinking about it, which is usually the extent of what I do. But you know, it's just annoying when you know that you should be standing up for yourself, but the part of you that's like, well, I get why they did it though, and like it makes sense to me, is just so consuming, and you can't, it's, and I don't know if I want to fight that side too much because, as much as, of course, the I want to say brave, but I don't know, the better percepted thing to do in a situation would be to like stand up for yourself and kick off and be like, hey, this wasn't nice, whatever. But I don't know if I want to lose that part of myself, but I think I definitely just need to balance it out a bit, which, yeah, I'm working on. Because I have been such a pushover kind of like my whole life, because growing up being neurodivergent, it's like you kind of just want people to like you, even though that you're really weird and you're just trying to fit in, but you can't, because you can't conform as well as other people can, because there's just something that's so different and off about you that nobody can quite pinpoint, but it's just so obvious that you're out of place. So when you've been like that for so long, it turns you into a pushover because you just want people to like you. So, you know, I'm trying more to stand up for myself. One thing I will say about it is that probably one of the most gut wrenching things in my life is having this thing where I am constantly searching for understanding in everyone, no matter what they've done, no matter how dirty they've done me. Because there has been some people that have seriously like pushed me to my absolute limits. And I have still been there searching for understanding and trying to have a conversation with them and being like, why would you do that? I don't understand. Like, why? What is your reasoning? What have I done to provoke this? Not even in a way of like blaming myself, but just from their perception, like, what have I done to you to provoke this? But ugh, it does suck when you are like that, people aren't like that with you. It is so annoying to have these situations over and over again and still not feel like anyone's done the same for you and like try to understand you like that on that level. It sucks. It really sucks, and it gives me a huge range of negative emotions. It makes me feel rejected, sad, angry. I like to really pinpoint my emotions rather than being like, this was a. I like to just pinpoint them and be like, this is how it makes me feel. Sad, angry, rejected, almost lonely. I'm not someone who feels lonely very much because, I'm pretty good on my own. I can just hang about, I guess. I don't know. I feel like there's a whole thing of like only boring people get bored or lonely, something like that. But you know, I feel like I do pretty well on my own. Um, but what was I talking about? I don't want to cut anything out of this because I want it to be just a whole thing. So I'm now trying to, because normally in like my TikToks where I cut random segments, it's like I've probably just been stood there for like 30 seconds, losing my thought trail. What was I? Yeah, okay, yeah, the depressing. Yeah, so it's the really sad stuff. So it sucks when nobody puts that effort into understanding you. My bangs are just wiggling. Nobody puts that effort into understanding you, and I I'm learning how to cope with that. I hope that in future videos this will just be some kind of like weird lineup of me slowly finding acceptance in the very shitty things like this because this is so shitty and unfortunate. And I I will name a situation actually. So a couple weeks ago, I had a friend come over, um, and we had this very long conversation. Um, just we were having like a deep talk kind of day. Like it was just a day. I felt more understood from that one conversation than I honestly think I have my entire life. And I just thought that was so beautiful. So I really wanted to share that. Um, because just wow, you know, when and she was also neurodivergent was she is also neurodivergent, so she just rejected it and she just came over and we just spoke for ages just about kind of that experience and just how it impacts everything. You know, you feel things deeper, people treat you differently just for no reason. It impacts your entire life and your sense of self, and it's so much deeper than anyone could ever imagine because people see neurodivergent as okay, autism, so okay, they're really smart, or maybe they're not really smart and they're lower functioning, or ADHD, they're super hyper and they're kicking chairs. It is so much deeper and it sucks, you know? So, just in that conversation alone, I have never felt so understood before, and I've never felt somebody trying so hard to understand me like that because I don't know, it was just incredible. And then she spoke about how someone else in her life had put that effort into understanding her. And I think that was when I started crying actually, because I was like, I wish somebody would do that for me. Like, oh my God. I'm not much of a crier either. I do feel a bit emotional here right now talking actually, which is strange because I'm not much of a crier usually, I guess. I don't know. For someone who feels things so deeply, I can usually hold it together. And plus I'm medicated, so it doesn't really come out that often. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that conversation because it like as soon as she left, I kind of just I closed the door and I was like, whoa, you know, it's like having a person, no matter who they are, it's I think it is honestly like a 6 hour conversation. I think it was 6 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours. Can honestly change your life because that and I don't know if she'll get creeped out by this of like how deep I'm taking just one conversation. She probably won't because she gets it. But like it gives so much hope to a person like me who feels like they've just been completely misunderstood their entire life. Um, and it was like, wow, like it's there. You know, somebody can do that, and I will find that. So, for anyone, if anybody does watch this, or and if you feel like you are constantly misunderstood or misrepresented, or you know, can't express yourself truly and nobody seems to understand you on a deeper level, you know, not on the surface level, on a deeper level, there will be someone. It will come, okay? You will be okay. um yeah, so I really appreciate that conversation. I feel gratefulness is another one of my topics that I have kind of been wanting. I don't know how long I should make these videos actually. because I always procrastinate because I've been thinking about making a video for like a week and now I'm here finally. It's like 15 minutes in and I'm kind of like, should I keep going? I'm happy to. Yeah, gratefulness is another thing I want to talk about because I don't know if this is a thing with um being neurodivergent. It seems like everything is. So I don't know if this is one of those things, but I feel it on a deeper level too. Um like okay, I'll give you an example. There was in high school, I ate lunch in the bathroom for quite a lot of my last year of high school. And when I would go to the bathroom to eat lunch, there was this one stall on the very left. It was like the kind of bigger stall, and I would always try and get that one because it was kind of more hidden, so the teachers wouldn't usually, notice if somebody was in it for a while. Um, so I would just kind of try and chill in there, but sometimes it was stolen. So I was like, but eventually, once the kind of like I don't want to say anger passed, it's not that deep, but like, once the initial like annoyance passed, it was like there's somebody else who's doing the same thing. Because I would go into the stall next to it because it was, the closest one out of eye line of where the teachers would maybe look. I would go into the stall next to it and then I would kind of see under the stall, not like in a weird way, like hear me out. Their bag was like on the floor and you can see it through where you're sat in the stall. I'm not looking through people's toilet stalls, thank you. It had like this specific charm on it. Um, and I just remember noticing it every time and be like, who is that? Like there is another person who's wigging who's on the same level, we're wigging. Um, and it was comforting to know that somebody else was doing the same thing as me and in the same position because it is really embarrassing to be like, I'm eating lunch in the toilets, you don't want anyone to know that. Um, it sucks. So I was in there on my birthday once eating lunch in the toilets. That was awful. There's like a video of me and my Snapchat memories that I was just it's too humbling to post to be honest. So awful. It's just me in there like happy birthday to me. I think I had like a little cupcake that I got from Little Bakery in the morning or some sort of sweet treat thing. I was like, happy birthday to me. That is actually so sad. I feel like I brush over this too much. That is so sad. Poor me. Poor me. Uh, um oh, the gratefulness. Yes, okay. So I would see this charm on her bag. And then eventually I picked up on who it was. Obviously, I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to mention any names on here, I don't think. Um, like good or bad. But yeah, eventually I picked up on who it was. I was like, oh my god, like, does she know that I'm doing the same thing? And like, I would kind of sometimes try to leave my bag on the floor so that she could maybe see it and know that she's not alone either. Um, because it kind of was weirdly not helping. Maybe help. Yeah, I think it was weirdly helping me to know that it's not that embarrassing because someone else is doing it too. Um, and then we never said a word to each other about it. I don't even know if we spoke in general, really. But after high school, it was like a year after or something. I messaged her on, I think it was on TikTok. I was like, hey, super. I just get kind of overwhelmed with gratefulness sometimes. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it just comes to me. And I was like, hey, I know that we both used to eat lunch in the bathroom, like, lol, always fighting for the same stall, lol. Um, I just wanted to know that I wanted you to know that like it was nice to know that somebody else was doing the same thing, and I hope you're doing okay. Whatever. I can't remember what I said. It's a while ago, but something along the lines of that. And I think that the reply was just something quite, you know, I don't want to air it out too much. It was just kind of like a very chill reply of like, oh, okay, cool. Like, oh, but yeah, I didn't really expect much. I don't because what do you say when you get a message like that? It's really weird and random. But I guess that's how my brain works. I just want to. I don't know. Whenever someone does something for me, like I really want to thank them in the biggest way possible. Like this is so embarrassing. This person who I had that conversation with. And it's not embarrassing. I'll air it out. This person who I had that conversation with, who made me feel really seen, I had planned to write her a thank you letter and bring it to this like pub that we go to. which I didn't do because I kind of really checked myself on that and been like, just shut the fuck up about it. Like, move on. This is just, just another day in someone's life. Like, your days, it's just another day for them. It wasn't like a huge thing. So just chill out. Like, it may feel monumental to you, it's not the same to everyone else. So let's just chill out on that. But she may see this now, but if she does, thank you for that conversation because this is different. I know this is different than a handwritten letter, but thank you for that conversation. um, yeah. Oh, I don't know. That's just the kind of. I think it's just mm, again with when someone's done me really wrong, I tend to be grateful for the good times rather than angry about the bad times. And I don't know if I'm just being like too much of an optimist, but that is so annoying. Like, I see all these people, this actually annoys me. I see all these people who can, have a proper go when someone does them wrong and like really like, hey, and it's like, I'm not like a weak person. If someone like came up to me in a bar and was like, you, I'd be like, okay, well, fuck you, like it would it would be like that. But if it's a situation where like I really know the person and, you know, I understand them a lot, or even just a bit, because I can't just understand someone a bit. It always ends up being a lot because I try so hard every time subconsciously. So I can't just focus on the bad thing that they've done. It's just got to be like, either why have you done that, or thanks for the good times. See you later. Like, that's so annoying. That is so annoying. I just want to be able to stand up for myself in the fullest capacity and have a proper go. Sometimes, like there was a situation a couple years ago where my best friend, I don't want to, I'm being careful here because I don't want to re-stir the pot. Years ago, my best friend slept with my abusive ex-boyfriend. I can say that. I'm not saying names, so I can say that. I'll say that. I don't care. This is me. This is my time. Okay. My best friend since childhood slept with my abusive boyfriend, who was also our friend from childhood. We'd all grown up together in like a little thing. Like, are you kidding? Are you actually? That is a piece of my law. Are you kidding? Are you? I got Cassied. So, any Euphoria fans out there? Yeah. So, it was horrific. It was gut wrenching. It was horrific. It was. Ugh. So, and when I found out, all I did was call her crying, being like, why would you do that? Like, what? And her response was something like, and if she sees this now, I'm not like, she knows how we are now. This is another thing about my forgiveness. She knows how we are now, so it's chill, but I'm just airing it out because it's important to me. But my response was just like, why would you do that to me? And she was just like, I just had to get you off my back somehow, like, you're just really annoying. Genuinely, I'm not like, that was basically the gist of the response. That was just annoying, and she wanted to get me off her back. So that sucks. That was awful. You know, and it's been a long journey since then. Me and her have met up, and she's been there like crying and like for forgiveness and everything. And she knows that I can never fully forgive her, but you know, I can't hate her, and I'm still gonna be chill with her because that was my person at one point. Like, she was my everything. I grew up with her. She stuck by me in really hard times, and then you know she probably did the most awful thing she could have done in the situation. But I know that she had a lot going on at the time too. Um, mm, yeah, I won't say too much about that until, like, I guess maybe a couple of videos down when I know like who's seeing it, because I don't want to air out too much, as I'm saying. Like, it's a bit much, but definitely sucked So, and it sucks that I couldn't then have it in me to like have a massive go and be like, how could you do this to me? Like, you know, because everyone was telling me, they were like, beat her ass. And I was like, not my style. Um, it's not in me to do that to someone who I know so well, you know? I don't know. And I'm not saying that if they came to me on smoke and was like, let's fucking have it, I would just be like, no, let's just talk, you know? I'd be okay, you know? But just in the general sense of like, if they're there begging for forgiveness, and I can tell that it's genuine as well, that's a huge thing. If I can tell that it is genuine and they are genuinely sorry, they have honestly changed, there's not really much that I can do to make myself feel angry in that situation. And it's very hard for me to like even try to stand on business and be like, no, this person hurt you, like just out of your life. It's very hard to do that for me anyway. So unfortunate. Yeah, I guess maybe this is a good place to end this one, I think, right? Because it's like 26 minutes now. I thought all my videos on here would be like an hour, but this feels like a decent place to end, unless something else comes into my mind. No? Okay, I was trying to bring it, but it's not working. Um, okay, well, I guess this is video number one then. I don't know if I'll post these like just as they go or like all in one once I've got a lot of them. This will be really weird though, because I'm gonna have like a channel, you know, like 2 views, 1 like, with a comment from a friend. Slay Queen. So this is definitely unusual to my normal TikToks, which tend to do relatively well sometimes. um, yeah. I guess I'm gonna end this one here then because I think that's been a good thought trail for today. I'm enjoying where that went, even though it's all just very depressing stuff. I wouldn't say I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just talking about like depressing stuff and like getting all out, but I just got a TikTok message. Um, it's just kind of no, I'm not gonna like backtrack myself because I do this a lot of like, oh, I don't want to be too much like this or too much like that. This is just my thoughts, okay? So if it's depressing to people, they don't have to watch, and if it's, you know, too heavy, then don't watch. It's giving them TikToks where it's like, if you don't like it, scroll. So that's the vibe I'm on right now. If you don't like it, scroll. So there we go. Video number one. Shall I like wait and get it to 30 minutes? No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Microphone. Oh. This is my outro now. Just